Yeah, I'm sure that they will call me just in a second. Okay, taking over by after those guys is like, a very, very not that easy task for me. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a few words about post-production pipeline of TV commercials. This is the field that I'm working in, and the things that I will show are not so impressive because they are simply parts of the commercials. So we are not the masters of our pieces, of our films, but we have the clients and we have to simply meet their expectations. And okay, let me start like this. Blender. Well, Blender is not a professional software. It's just a toy for amateurs and hobbyists. No real professional would ever consider using Blender to create his serious 3D stuff. This is the general opinion. This is how people perceive Blender. And I must say that I hate using the word professional when describing a software or any tool. Let's take an example of some tool. Like this is a tool, right? It's a pen. Can we say that it's professional or not professional? We can use it professionally or not, but I can write a letter to my wife using this pen, and this is by no means no professional usage, right? But I can also sign a check for $1 million. And this is something, created, I made something that is worth $1 million, but the tool itself didn't change. And the same applies to Blender. You can use Blender to create some amateur stuff, and you can use Blender to create professional stuff. And I strongly believe that Blender can be used in professional environment. And I don't know about every single field that it can be used, but I know something about the post-production pipeline of TV commercials. Okay, because this is what I do for more than 15 years now. My name is Bartek Skorupa, and I am the co-owner of Lemon Film Studio. This is the production house that is located in Warsaw, Poland, and we are producing TV commercials. What does it mean? We are on the market since 1999. At the beginning of this month, we had the 12th anniversary of our company. And we were starting as strictly the production company, not the post-production. We didn't even think about post-production, but since something like 2005 or 2006, we began offering the post-production services, some post-production services. How is it all organized, this business? Okay, we have the advertising agency. This is the company who is responsible for all the campaign. Because we have to remember that television is only the part of the campaign. We also have other media like billboards, press, internet, radio, whatever. And the television campaign may be the part of some campaigns. And then the production house comes into play. This is the company who, like ours, who is responsible for the organizational stuff. So we organize the crew, organize the equipment, cast, locations, and so on. From the organizational point of view, the companies like ours are rather small. We need like few people, wise enough, just to be able to organize things. We don't need to have like a factory. We don't need to possess the equipment and so on. Everything is simply hired, outsourced. We don't have long-term contracts with the crews. We simply hire them for the project and then let them go. And the same applies to the equipment. Then, okay, the footage is shot and we enter the post-production phase. So everything that happens after the footage has been shot is a post-production, and this is taken care of by the post-production facility. And those are mostly bigger organizations, and especially the big guys, the big post-production companies. They were established like 10, 20, 30 years ago. So at that time, there was a huge barrier. It was impossible to build a post-production facility without having to invest really a lot of money. Everything was very expensive. And so they built their facilities using those very expensive tools, and they are simply used to spending a lot of money on equipment. But then the times changed. The computers became more powerful, the applications became more powerful and cheaper, and we also have some open source and powerful open source applications like Blender. So we can create professional stuff using just this software. Now, TV commercials as a phenomenon, what it is, it's just a 30 seconds film. And the goal of this film is to convince the viewer to perform certain action, to buy a certain product or service. And the standard structure of the commercial is we have 30 seconds of the film, 27 to 28 seconds of this is a story, usually told by the actors. And then we have 2 to 3 seconds of the pack shot, so the presentation of this product. And 3D can be involved in integrating some 3D elements into live footage or creating the demos, how some specific thing works, and those pack shots. Sometimes we have a chance to create a commercial that is created in 3D only. And let me show you the example. This is the example that I already showed at my first presentation. Not this one. So this is an example of the commercial that is purely 3D.
Witajcie w najzabawniejszym szpitalu świata! Przygotujcie się na wstrząsającą kurację śmiechem. Pod dobrą opieką wróci chęć do żartów! Tu nie ma mowy o bólu głowy, a dopilnuje tego sam Dr. Mouse. Gwarantujemy szybki powrót do wspaniałego poczucia humoru.
Bohaterów serii Mouse Doctors oraz wiele innych zabawek znajdziesz w Kinder Niespodziance i na magickinder.com.
Or we can have something like this.
Dobry, pani Góraczy,
Ja chętnie. Oshi Vitamin Shot. 100% dziennego zapotrzebowania na witaminę.
Yeah, so also something like that. But those are very rare situations where you have a chance to create something purely in 3D. And as the idea of the commercial comes and you know what influence we have on how it looks, we are very limited. We have many bosses. We have the advertising agency above us. We have all those kind of things. So mostly we are involved in creating those kind of things. minus 70%. This is the most important thing for the client, always. Okay, so mostly those are the things that are created in 3D for commercials, right? So when you look at the commercials, yeah, this is simply how it looks like. And the question is, can those things be created in Blender? And of course the answer is yes, especially that all those things were created in Blender with the help of After Effects, unfortunately. Sorry, but yeah. And now, Blender is not perceived as being professional software, so I have some problems when, for example, when hiring artists. Because when I want to hire an artist, and I want somebody who is well-known and so on, in most cases he doesn't use Blender, he uses other software because Blender is not professional software. This is like, and it would be great if we can change it, if we publish a lot of things like those gorgeous stuff that you presented, so that more and more people are convinced that we can use Blender. When I talk to some artists and I simply ask, would you want to work for me? And I say, and you know, and for 3D, we are using Blender. So he says, what? Okay, but you know, I don't know. And he doesn't treat me seriously because I'm using this software. But this is changing, and I see that, I'm sure about it, that it will change in some time, that Blender will be treated seriously. Those things happened before with other areas, like, for example, editing. When you take a look at the editing, okay, 20 years ago or 15 years ago, the only software that you could use for editing was Avid. And at that time, it costed like $100,000 or something like that. Now it is available, and Final Cut came into play. And it was cheap, right? It was cheap. And people began to use it. And the time was going, and Final Cut, as such, began to be treated seriously. Of course, what happened this year with Final Cut, okay, Apple killed Final Cut, but let's forget about it. Okay, let's go further. Visual effects. 15 years ago, 10 years ago, we were only talking about Inferno, smoke, I don't know, those kind of tools that are really, really expensive. Some people used After Effects, but you know, it wasn't treated seriously. It was like, okay, it was just a toy. But now, when you say, I am using After Effects, you sound serious. It became a kind of a standard. So it happened, and it's not that expensive software comparing to those big guys like Smoke, Inferno, and things. So Blender will eventually be perceived this way, as long as we show good stuff created in Blender. But unfortunately, there is very much not that good stuff created in Blender presented because there is no barrier. Everybody can have Blender. So you can simply download it and create something. And people begin to simply orbit around the cube and then publish it, because you have YouTube and you publish it. And many things, such things, tests and so on, are published. And when you search the internet for the stuff created in Blender, the most things that we see the crap, really. And only some of the things are those big things, those good things. Because there is no barrier, everybody can have it, and even if he doesn't have talent, he creates the stuff and publishes it. So that's what's happening. Now, just if I have some few minutes, just a little bit of history, how it happened that we now offer post-production. It all started like we began to think, okay, it's not that wise to go to big post-production houses to ask to edit our showreel. We didn't think about offering post-production, but we needed some post-production things, like some stuff to edit things. So we wanted to edit our showreels. We bought some software and began to edit the showreels. Then we discovered, okay, there is After Effects. I bought one suite with After Effects, and I began to learn how to use it, just to make our showreels better. Then I found out that there are companies who are using this After Effects professionally, just to create things that they sell. So I began to think maybe it's possible to sell the things that we create. I began to add some supers, some simple things, and then more and more complicated. Then I hired some other artists, and there were two of us, and we simply sold the stuff. And we were mad that, you know, as it comes to 3D, we cannot do anything. We need some software, and okay, what were the options? We didn't want to expand too much. Okay, buying Maya or Max, something that is well known, right, and perceived as a professional thing. It was, it's not worth to spend this much money just to create an extruded text or a simple pack. So somehow I downloaded Blender. I took a look at it. It was like a version 2. I don't remember, 2.4 something. And I opened it. I didn't know what to do with this. I only saw this cube, not cube, but a square. I tried to select something, I couldn't. It's impossible to select anything in Blender because you simply click and only this little red circle is just changing the place. So, okay, let's try to find help. Okay, help. It led me to some site, and no real human being could understand anything on this site. Blender Wiki, and you know, impossible to navigate and to learn anything. Okay, maybe let's search for some tutorials. And at that time, there were no tutorials. There were no people like some present here at and it was simply almost impossible. So I simply forgot about this software and came back to it like a year later or something, and began to create my extruded texts and some simple packs just to put into the things that we were creating in After Effects. And then I kept learning more and more, hired some more artists. Right now, okay, we are not the biggest post-production facility in the world, even in Poland, even in Warsaw. We are focusing on production. This post-production is just our side thing. This is we wanted to have those possibilities, but it's not the main activity of ours. And it appeared that okay, it is possible to create things that clients buy. So we create those things and sell them. And yeah, again, the problem comes when, you know, talking to artists. It's like a circle. It's like, you know, because big post-production facilities don't use Blender, artists want to learn other software. If artists want to learn other software and know other software, post-production facilities will never switch to Blender. So it's a process. It needs some time just to for Blender to be treated seriously, right? Okay, and right now, at the moment, our pipeline is like we edit using Avid and Avid and Final Cut, depends on the editor. When somebody comes and says, I want to edit on Final Cut, okay, use Final Cut, and others use Avid. We add visual effects and all the stuff in After Effects, and in fact, After Effects is the central place for all of our projects. It's like when we edit, we want to, as quickly as possible, move to After Effects. We are working on short pieces. Commercials are like 30 seconds long, so it's possible to have everything in one project. Blender is the only 3D software that we use, and we simply take elements from Blender and put it to After Effects. One little story about compositing in Blender and compositing in After Effects was just a month or 2 months ago, I don't exactly remember, I had a situation that, okay, I needed to composite something really quickly using the passes and so on, and I knew how I should connect all those things. And I thought my workflow is usually like this. I render everything to the sequence of multi-layer, EXR multi-layer, and then I extract the things, extract the passes, take them into After Effects, and composite in After Effects. Now, I didn't want to go through this process of extracting and going to After Effects, so I thought, okay, I need something quickly. Just, I have like 10 minutes. I have to quickly composite something and send to the client. So I thought, okay, I will use Blender's compositor. So, okay, connecting the nodes, compositing the passes, everything was easy. But then it came to the moment that I needed to mask something. So, unfortunately, I extracted those passes, something that I wanted to avoid. I extracted those passes, went to After Effects, composited in After Effects, and it was done. So, well, what more can I say? I think that's it. I really hope that, because right now we are planning to expand a little bit, to just to make our post-production department a little bit bigger. And I have the dilemma. Should I think about buying at least one suit or with Maya or Max or something? And it's a tough one, because I would love not to have to. I would love, but it needs, you know, more and more good artists have to use Blender. So simply, people, please publish good stuff. That's, thank you.
Of course. I agree with you. In the market, people think Blender is still a little toy and stupid and stuff. Not 100% true, but it's for 95%. Most people still think it's not serious. But on the other hand, in time, I see we have a continuous growth, even when it's very slow, but things get better, a little bit better, and a little bit better. I think the confidence people are now feeling in Blender, because it's around now for 9 years as open source, keeps being improved. Every year the quality of graphics being made in Blender. The film festival, Suzanne's, this year, it's like, how is it possible, right? That's Blender, right? It's all Blender. Yeah, that's cool stuff. And that's the only way to do it. We have to go on, little steps, and prove that we keep improving, that we are reliable, and we are partners, and that you can invest in it. But on the other hand, it's difficult to say, well, compete with Maya or Max or Autodesk, but that's $1 billion companies. They hire the best people in the world, and they work with 20 to 50 developers full time on getting those things done. So if you say, well, I got Maya artists in who want to work for me, well, you tell them, buy your own Maya license. I mean, we subtract it from your fee. So if you use Blender, you can get 5,000 more, or if you have to buy Maya for you, pay it yourself. Because why would we pay for your tools? What? So that may be a way for them to understand it, that it is actually costs. Because Autodesk is not going to give them this for free. Or you could say compare it to Lightwave or Cinema 4D. So that's more the level where Blender is now. And so people say, yeah, I'm not going to use Lightwave, right? I'm not going to use Cinema 4D. I want to have Maya. And for 90%, that's only mental ideas and marketing and crap they have in their minds. The last thing, the compositing part, Adobe After Effects, I've heard that too many times. Next year, I won't hear that anymore. What? Next year, we will have all these things solved, okay? Yeah, he's going. Otherwise, Ian is not going to do the film. I mean, when the moment when Ian says, I can't do Mango, I need Adobe After Effects, then we stop this project. Right, we have to. Yeah. So it is only a few things, right? Yeah. So I also think, I mean, I don't know, but Maya wouldn't have this masking stuff in the compositor either, do they? Yeah.
Do they have any compositing system? I don't think so. It's like, no. No, not for masks. No. Just for... Ah, I see. Okay, but it's like, it's rather normal in the pipeline that you use different tools for different tasks. You have the editing software, you have a color grading something tool, you have something for VFX, for 3D, and so on. And even people are using different tools for modeling, different tools for texturing, different tools for lighting, and so on. This is how it goes. So.
I thought we had a break now already. Oh, there's another speaker. I'm sorry. Okay, we have to stop. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I mean, we also have the